Hi there. In my last IGCSE video, I looked at Germany and the causes of World War II and considered the policy of appeasement. In this video, I'm going to focus on Hitler and just what was Hitler up to. We know he wanted to revise the Treaty of Versailles. We know he wanted to unite all Germans and provide Germans with more living space. We know he wanted to smash communism and smash the Soviet Union. And we know he wanted to make Germany a great power, a power that was respected, even feared. But what exactly were his war plans? That's what this video is going to take a look at. So how Hitler planned for war. We begin with rearmament, and this was Hitler's first international act on becoming Chancellor in 1933. He demanded equality for Germany at the League of Nations Disarmament Conference. He demanded that either everyone else should disarm down to Germany's level, or they should allow Germany to rearm up to their level. But he made this demand knowing that it would be too much for France to accept. But it allowed him to walk out of the conference and out of the League, which left him relatively free to do as he pleased. And in March 1935, he let the world know that Germany had increased its army already to 300,000 men, and he announced a return to conscription that would increase it even more. And then we have the remilitarization of the Rhineland. Along with rearmament, remilitarization of the Rhineland would show the German people that he was determined to break the Treaty of Versailles. In the process, it would test just how far Britain and France or the League were prepared to go to uphold the treaty. And he would see that they wouldn't go very far. Whilst if he was successful, and he was, it would strengthen Germany's western border with France, which would take away the fear of a French attack to his rear if he moved against Poland. And it would win over the army, and it would also gain a lot more support from the German people. Then we have the Spanish Civil War. A Spain led by Franco would have a number of important advantages for Hitler and for Mussolini, and that's why they got involved and gave substantial support to Franco's nationalists. France would also now be squeezed top and tail, north and south, by fascist or fascist-like powers across its borders. And it would weaken British and French influence in the Mediterranean, while strengthening Italy's position. It was hoped that it would lead to Britain losing Gibraltar, which would make it a lot easier for Mussolini to grab his Mediterranean empire. Because with Gibraltar taken, it would close Britain's access to the Suez Canal because they couldn't get into the Mediterranean. And so it would squeeze or close Britain's access to India and the Far East. It would also make it more difficult for France to get troops from its North African empire should there be a major war in Europe. And then there's the Anschluss, and this held tremendous benefits for Hitler. it would increase Germany's military strength, and it would provide more mineral deposits to pay for, the gold and silver would help pay for its rearmament program. Iron ore, of course, magnesite, copper, zinc, tungsten, all would help the war effort, and salt and timber could be gained too. It also meant that it would be easier for Germany to move against Czechoslovakia, and Hitler already had this in his mind. Whilst in defying the Treaty of Versailles again, it would cement the support of the German people for the Nazi Party. And so we come to the Sudetenland and the rest of Czechoslovakia. The Sudetenland was rich in resources and had a strong industrial economy, including a very good armaments industry. And the rest of Czechoslovakia meant that Germany gained more coal deposits and iron ore reserves, and more armaments factories too, including the giant Skoda armaments works. Strategically, it left Germany in a much stronger position to attack Poland. And when they did attack Poland, they came from every angle, including the captured Czech territories, whilst making a major step in acquiring that living space that apparently the Germans needed. So there you have Hitler's plans for war. He took his opportunities, but there was a plan there all the time. It might have been adapted as events unfolded, but he knew what he wanted, and we can see it being gained piece by piece. Of course, it led him to believe that Britain and France would continue to let him get away with this, and so it emboldened him to move on Poland. And that, of course, is where we get our Second World War. So I hope that pieces Hitler's war together for you, and I hope you find it useful. Cheers.